nani sasa?
This previously quiet corner of America is now at the center of a rush for natural gas, extracted through a new drilling technology called hydraulic fracturing, also known as fracking. But as the ecologists discovered, fracking is a high-risk process that threatens to both destroy the environment and wreck lives.
Ahora hay una nueva fuente de riqueza, en el subsuelo, y proviene del gas, un combustible cuya extracción aquí resultaba poco rentable. Pero eso ha cambiado. Estos ingenieros del gigante petrolero Shale están excavando casi 4 kilómetros en lo profundo para extraer un recurso escondido, el gas contenido en una piedra fósil llamada pizarra. Torres de perforación como esta se están expandiendo en todo Estados Unidos.
La fractura hidráulica es un método de extracción del gas metano. Este consiste en bombear toneladas de agua y productos químicos, entre ellos ácido clorhídrico, en un pozo de 3 kilómetros de profundidad, bajo una gran presión. La roca, al romper, libera el gas, pero del mismo modo puede aflorar la radiación y las toxinas antes encerradas en el suelo. En cambio, 3/4 partes de las sustancias químicas cancerígenas se acomodan en la tierra. Y aunque los ciudadanos no están de acuerdo con esta práctica, las autoridades la consideran más ecológica que la de carbón.
Pero el perforado de este recurso es controvertido. En otras zonas de Estados Unidos, la gente dice que esto está haciendo que se filtre el gas y llegue al agua potable.
One of the first problems observed in communities close to intensive fracking sites has been the contamination of domestic water supplies.
You could drill a gas well 150 feet from this river or the lake that feeds it, which is the water source for this village. And that's just insane.
Los geólogos utilizan gráficos de 3 dimensiones para identificar los yacimientos de este tipo de gas.
El desarrollo de estos recursos es una de esas oportunidades que solo surgen una vez en un siglo en nuestro continente. Nos permite producir energía a partir de uno de los combustibles fósiles más limpios y tener un grado mucho mayor de seguridad energética. Reduce la importancia de otros recursos energéticos y además genera empleos.
Like we would take a glass of water out of the tap and it would have like an oil base on the top. You could smell it. It would smell like diesel fuel or some kind of oil thing. You know, I used to go to my sink and get a glass of water. I can't do that anymore. I have to put lotion on my hands 3 times a day from using the water, even wash my dishes or wash my clothes or anything.
Meanwhile, increased levels of methane gas in water supplies have been reported in areas of intensive drilling.
This is the water that's in my well, and supposedly I'm supposed to be drinking it.
Once the chemicals are injected and the fracturing process is complete, a large percentage of that fluid comes back up. So we have purposely polluted large quantities of fresh water with chemicals that do not belong in the human environment. And now we have the responsibility, the industry and the landowners have a responsibility to dispose of them properly. But we're talking enormous quantities.
And the water dumped out, down off their pad, down across my land, into my pond, through the pond and into the wetland here alongside me. And what it did, it killed the pond, killed the fish, killed everything in the pond. No frogs, no turtles, nothing. Our drinking water in our house has high concentrations of lead. They've recommended it, or they've told us not to drink it and don't bathe in it. From our heaven, now it's turned into our hell.
I've seen chemicals come out of the side
literally the side. It looked like the mountain was bleeding. It looks like a plateau. They had the pad here, and they have like the barrier fence around it, and there was just like this red, nasty water just coming, just oozing out the side of the mountain, just the side of the hill. So they're not doing something right.
But a toxic cocktail of chemicals is not the only worrying component in frack wastewater. Critics argue it could contain far more dangerous substances.
These shale deposits are rich in radium, radium-226. The level of radium in the Marcellus is about 267 times the safe disposal amount, meaning it'll kill you. So there's anecdotal evidence that these frac fluids will leach uranium out of these shale deposits. There's also radon in these shale deposits. So in addition to the fracking fluid, which we know is toxic, the frac flowback leaches radium out of the shale. The radium is carcinogenic, and that's something that's being introduced to the surface in a spill that wasn't there before.
Not only do we now have a technology that has exceeded our regulatory capacity, we have a government saying something that's ahead of the technology. So I'm really concerned about people in Europe, India, Asia, Africa, that they're going to jump into this again too soon without understanding completely what the implications of this use of technology are on environment and human health.
Realmente debemos reflexionar en cómo dejar de usar el combustible fósil, pero el gobierno presta su atención y recursos a unos métodos como la energía nuclear y la fractura hidráulica que no contribuyen a aumentar la capacidad de recuperación y no nos llevan hacia la reducción del impacto climático.
Y hay países que tienen en consideración estos riesgos. Así, la fractura hidráulica está prohibida en Francia y Bulgaria, motivada por el rechazo público que ha cobrado. Pero las autoridades del Reino Unido parecen hacer caso omiso a los llamamientos de sus ciudadanos e ignoran los peligros que presenta esta práctica, discutida para la tierra, el agua y la salud de sus súbditos.
Quizá el problema más grande es el hecho de que no está ayudando a resolver el cambio climático. Representa más inversión en otro combustible fósil, justo cuando los científicos nos dicen muy claramente que necesitamos dejar atrás los combustibles fósiles y recurrir a tecnologías renovables.
Pero los ingenieros afirman que el gas de Pizarra tiene bajas emisiones si se compara con el carbón y tiene un impacto menor sobre el medio ambiente local. La energía de muchos hogares en Estados Unidos proviene ya del gas de Pizarra, y no se ve que su desarrollo vaya a detenerse en las décadas por venir.